Imagine
A podcast.
where time drifts slowly,
A podcast.
where
Isaac.
carries you away.
So let me be clear. We tortured some folks.
Hey, hi, hello, it's Isaac. You're listening to Coexist Inc. Sometimes I feel like I am at the center of the world. This is not some sort of main character energy nonsense. I mean that living in Florida makes me feel like I am close to the beating heart of the evil empire. Our nefarious overlords practice on Florida first, I'm sure of it. Data centers, detention centers. Sometimes it feels like Florida is the center of America. But maybe I'm biased. There is one other state that rivals Florida's centrality, Texas. So to find out which state is the most center of the U.S. empire, I am joined by Texas native Jake Rhodes of Pendejo Time, one of my favorite shows. And as always, if you enjoy the show, show your love however you can. Subscribe, follow, share, etc., etc., etc. Now enjoy.
This is a real pretty song. It's called the Texas River Song. It's an old folk song. Well, we crossed the wide Pecos, and we forded the new Oasis, and we swam the Guadalupe, and we followed the Brazos. Red River runs rusty, and the Wichita clear. And down on the Brazos I courted my dear. La la la, lend me your hand. La la la, lend me your hand. La la la, lend me your hand. Oh, the Trinity's muddy and the Brazos quicksand.
I just got this book. I told myself no more CIA books for my own mental health, but I can't. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. I bought Tortured Taxi, which is shout out to Mr. Trevor Paglin and AC Thompson. It's I guess through like a combination of like flight tracking and like GPS and like interviews, they like basically tracked all the planes that at the beginning of Dark Knight Rises, where they have all the people, like just the CIA torture planes or whatever. I keep telling myself, no more. I have enough on the shelf. I've read enough.
I mean, half my library is like unread. It's embarrassing.
It's like I'll read them, but I have this thing. I always joke with somebody about it, where it's like, okay, like now I know this disgusting, like evil shit, and then what do I gain from it? Really, like I struggle all the time with like this, like being arrested by awareness. Like, okay, I know, so it's like my options are keep living my life and like, or become a really cool guy that does really cool stuff. And like delivers presents to people, loud ones. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I don't really have like, I feel like those are the only two ones you have.
I think you become really fun at parties.
Being
like, oh, this thing that you like, actually, it's really bad, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm known to do that. Yeah, I get like a few beers in, and I'm like, "What are you guys talking about? Oh, you guys just saw Obsession." I have an obsession. It's fucking really, I mean, everybody that people in elected positions of power and appointed, they sell children for blackmail. It's 11 p.m. I know you're halfway through that high noon. You guys are having some gummies. What if I just ruined the whole fucking evening for all of you guys, and I never come back?
I did that at my friend's wedding in Finland. I like ruined this guy's day. He was like this sweet Finnish guy, and they're so naive. I don't know. It's lovely to be Finnish. And I was just kind of explaining to him. He's like, tell me about 9/11. And I was like, oh, you guys are way behind.
Yeah.
And I just like fucked up. He just sat there and he's just like, oh. And for the rest of the day, Even
Yeah.
into the night, he was just like he had his head in his hands, and I was like, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
mean to.
It's fun to do that to Europeans, like because they think like in my travels, I don't get a kick out of it. I hate being the bearer of bad news, but they already think that we're kind of brutish and cruel and stupid. But those are just the ones that travel. I have to let them know some of us don't travel. We're the ones that travel. So you're meeting the ones that are like, we can scrounge up enough, we care enough to go. And there are a lot of us that don't care what happens outside of even the contiguous Alaska and Hawaii, not real. The lower 48, baby. And like those guys, yeah. No, like I was in Ireland and they were like, one guy we were like, I was in Galway, I was drunk as shit. I was just making small talk with this. And they were like, nobody cares that, it's like we had the whole scandal with the church and, some people actually went to jail. No one cares that your presidents are rapists. And it's like, no. I mean, there's some people that care, but like, I mean, what are you going to do? And he's like, we've killed people for way less. And I'm like, oh, we don't kill people. I mean, some of us do, but, mostly what we do is post.
We post.
We make
post.
Substack
or
articles.
we beat up the McDonald's cashier because there aren't.
Yeah. Or we shoot each other in traffic.
Yeah,
we have minor traffic disputes and we shoot each other. That was my thing about. I love that about Ireland is that they have such a healthy relationship with like blowing off steam because they had such a long and storied history of political violence, but now they're like, well, you have an argument with somebody, you guys get into a fist fight, the cops, and I'm like, dude, you get into a fist fight at a bar here, you might just get shot. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yep. If you win, that guy's going back to his truck. He's got something for your ass for sure.
And I mean, it's probably the same in Texas as it is in Florida, but you're not allowed to carry a gun. I mean, we have open carry now and automatic concealed carry. And I don't like carrying just because I don't like the gun against my dick. It just makes me.
I don't. We have constitutional carry, which is that you don't got to take a class, you don't got to get a CHL.
Yeah, we don't either.
Yeah, and then I think you can open carry a long gun here, but yeah,
I'm not supposed to at the bar. I know that, but everyone does.
Yeah,
the guns I see at bars now is fucking terrifying.
I remember asking. I was in the hill country, which is right. I live in the hill country, but there's deep, you go further west, and it's just small, really really small towns, cool, very cool dive bars, biker bars, and stuff. And I went to this one by the lake that me and my fiance go to, and three different dudes in there just had their shit, big iron on his hip, just a huge, not with a 1911 and what looked like a SIG. And I was like, I asked the waitress, I was like, hey, look, I'm not a cop or nothing, but. And she was like, oh, I mean, if you want to go tell him he can't have it in here, that's fine with me. And I was like, heard enough. I'm not fucking anything.
Yeah. If I was in a waiter, I'd say the exact same thing. I'd be like, you can be my guest.
I'm not, that guy is high as hell on meth. Everybody out here is. So you can tell him he can't have his pistol at fucking Mike's Ice House. See how that goes.
I guess that makes Florida a little classier because we just got coke out the wazoo, man. You can't get it's the amount of cocaine that's running through Florida, which has always been a cocaine state, but just it's exponential now. Also terrifies me just because I know what that does to your sense of morality.
Yeah. I used to love it, and I will say I think Floribama is way different than anything maybe south of Orlando. Floribama is a different world. I've driven through there one time, and it reminds me a lot of East Texas, where I'm like, oh, there's this is do not pull over past 8 p.m. even if you're white. There are parts of this area that are sundown for everybody if you're not from here, and then you get toward Miami-Dade, and it's oh, this is GTA. Mm-hmm. Miami is so funny, dude. When it's the streaming capital of the world, and I love seeing it through the eyes of 19-year-olds who have more money than God. And it's God, the world doesn't. If somebody would have told me 30 years ago, you can move to Miami and film yourself all day long and make $2 million a year. You can film yourself
Yeah.
overdosing. You can film yourself shooting alligators. You can film yourself getting knocked out by bouncers. Oh my God, I would never gone to college. I would have dropped
Yeah,
out.
the amount of enterprising entrepreneurial 19-year-olds who become OnlyFans managers and lease
Yeah.
Lamborghinis in Miami, it's not a small amount of people. It's pretty
Yeah.
fucking crazy. So you don't
Well,
got
it's-
that in Texas. So by the way, thank you, Jake, for being on the
Oh.
show. This is why I wanted you on. I think we're kindred spirits in a way. I think Florida
sure.
and Texas,
Yeah.
we were probably the closest to each other than any other
Mhm.
state.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes I feel like we're competing for who's the most representative of the American id, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
And so I think that the way Europeans imagine America is oftentimes Texas, right?
Yeah.
But we got a lot of cowboys too. And so I think we're always in competition of who is like the center of the American core.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking the word center has just been coming up a lot lately to me. And so I wanted to talk about which one of us, like where is the center? Where is the locus? And I think it is between. It's not New York. It's not DC. It's not LA. I really think it's between Florida and Texas. And so I really wanted to hash that out with you.
Yeah, I mean, born and raised Texan, I've always Texas is like America condensed into a thick syrup. It's like it's what goes into the Coca-Cola to make it. It's like it's the like condensed milk. Like like all of the most braggadocious, the most kind of obnoxious, like it's Texas. Like one of the things that I think more so than any other state in the South, and Florida and Texas too have that thing where Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama are the South. Florida and Texas are geographically South, but they kind of exist in their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where like like West Virginia, South Carolina is the South, but the difference between South Carolina and Florida is they're different worlds. They're just different. Mm-hmm. And so Texas is kind of the same thing where like I don't know, like there seems to be in Texas, the one thing that I think that unites them is that politically speaking and culturally, they are kind of in a race to the bottom for the theater of cruelty. Like, not to say Mississippi and Louisiana, obviously they have like sordid histories, but I'm saying in today's modern like political climate, it's like both of our state leaders, DeSantis and Abbott, respectively or whatever, they're always trying to like Abbott busing a bunch of Hispanic people to Martha's Vineyard in the dead of winter with no plan for them. Just here you go. It's negative.
And that was like Ron DeSantis' idea. I think,
yes.
Right.
Yeah,
I think DeSantis did
yeah.
it first and then Abbott stole it. And DeSantis got fucking pissed. Instead of being like, oh, solidarity and the cruelty, it's like, oh, you're stealing my bit. It's like some comic. It's like Carlos Mencia stealing a fucking joke kind of like thing.
They play off. I think Abbott and DeSantis play off of each other because they both understand that when Trump dies, somebody's going to have to be like the Mad King, like the cruel. Somebody's going to have to be the director of the theater of cruelty or whatever. And the problem is neither of them have any swag. Not to say that Trump, like neither of them have any of the. I still claim this to be true, despite how evil we all know he is. That there's something about Trump that kind of makes shit bounce off of him that DeSantis does. DeSantis, I think, is actually genuinely a sociopath. I don't think Trump is. Trump is I think narcissistic and self-absorbed, but like that video during the primaries of somebody like literally one of his DeSantis's guys being like smile and he goes like this and he like it's like it's so clear that he's never like in his job before he was a politician was he was the guy they would send into Guantanamo to befriend the torture victims, and his job was to, or at least the people who were being tortured were thought, oh, this is my lawyer. But what DeSantis would do is he would find out their like through conversations their least favorite forms of torture, and then tell that to the torturers, and then just he was basically like a Trojan horse, like to get more to subject those guys to more pain or whatever.
No, the name escapes me, but one of the detainees who was released don't want to call it detainee. That seems too soft of
Yeah.
a word. One of the
Prisoner.
torture victims.
Yeah.
He explicitly called out the cruelty of Ron DeSantis. When he saw him, because he didn't before DeSantis was running for the president. I think people kind of like were somewhat aware of him, but didn't just know how swagless he really was. And then when he got, national news media attention, everyone was like, "Oh, this guy is fucking annoying." And that's what I could have told everybody. Like I could have saved them a bunch of trouble, being like, "This guy sucks. He doesn't have it. He's not going to work." So I wonder with Abbott. I know the only lore I know about Abbott is that he's in a wheelchair, but he didn't get it through anything cool. Like, didn't just like a tree fall on him or something?
Yeah. The weird thing about that is that he was fucking whistling Dixie, walking down the road, and a tree falls on him and fucking crushes his spine. And then after that, the way he makes he came from a somewhat moneyed family, but the way that he made his millions was that, like, in perpetuity, he got so much amount of money forever. But then when he got into politics, passed a law to where if that happens to anybody else, you can't sue the county, you can't sue the city, you can't sue the state.
Oh, that's beautifully American of him. Like,
yeah,
you pull a ladder up behind you. That
like
is
if a
the
tree,
American way.
Yeah. If a tree falls on your shit, like there is legal recourse, but it's not as easy as 1, 2, 3 as it was for him. And that's coupled with his dedication, not dedication, that's an understatement. The city that I live in, somebody who works for city council was doing our books, and this is layman's terms because don't have the language to articulate what occurred from like a tax perspective, but they were like, "Hey, we're missing like $4.4 million in city revenue," and the city asked Abbott what happened to it, and he was like, "We sent it to Israel," and they were like, "Okay, so we want that back, and we're not going to pay any more. Like, we're not sending any more money to the state. Like, we are going to hire private auditors, whatever." Abbott was like, "I will withhold all of your funding for your parks and for your recreation, for your rivers, until you agree to send a portion of your city's tax revenue to the state of Israel." And the city was, was like, "You can go fuck yourself. Like, wheel your ass on out of here. Like, enough." And we've been the city of San Marcos has been at odds with Abbott ever since. This happened like 6 months ago.
Oh, so this is relatively recent. Okay.
Yeah, this just happened like at the beginning of this year. And he made a big stink about it, threatened to send ICE and National Guard and stuff. But it's a small college town that already gets a lot of press, and I think he chickened out a little bit. I also have my own running theory is the reason that Abbott doesn't deploy ICE in the same way that you see it in places like Minneapolis is all the cool comedians live here. All the cool, all the quote unquote podcast bros, they all live here. And although those guys, many of them support those policies, what they don't want to see it in person, because then it kind of shatters that illusion of that they're just talking. If they have to see a mother of two get double legged by a roided up bald idiot, then it's like, oh, what have I done? They have to see it. The suspension.
You think they have that? Do you think they have that level of self-reflection?
Yes, some of them do for sure.
Okay.
Well, I don't think it's self-reflection. I think some of them, guys like Theo Von, I think
Theo Von's okay, I guess.
I think he feels genuinely bad. But some of them, like Andrew, I think guys like Andrew Schultz, it's one of these finger to the wind, dude. Because some of it's like, oh, okay, and because culture. The pendulum of culture swings left to right quicker because of the internet. Used to be you could be a left-wing guy for like 10 years and it would swing back rightward and everybody would forget. Well, now it's happening like every 6 months. And so you're seeing these guys be like, "Oh, ICE, necessary evil. Oh, no, we got to get them out of here." Well, sometimes they could be good. And you're like, dude, just take the Blue Chew money and kill yourself. Like, I could just, you have millions of dollars. You don't need to.
That if they're taking Blue Chew themselves and they're doing cocaine, they're not long for this world. Their hearts.
Oh yeah.
The blood pressure exploding heart crisis is upon us, my friend.
Oh, for
the
sure.
amount of young boys who are taking hair pills. That's also blood pressure medication. Dick pills, blood pressure medication. The fucking GLPs and whatever the fuck they're taking. You're just gonna be watching these teenage streamers just falling over with like heart explosions pretty soon. Is my prediction.
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly good that you can buy steroids on Instagram. But then it's not like
Oh, you
it's
hate
not.
the free market. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, and also that crowd, I mean, regardless, regardless of how you feel about the vaccine or whatever, like that crowd specifically being anti-vax, but like pro mystery Chinese peptides. The irony is not lost. It's so funny. They're like, yeah, I'm on XD25 and BB192 and 925 and Zion 262, and then you're like, hey man, did you get a flu vaccine this year? Like, what am I? The fucking a moron? No, I'm red, and my fucking natural immunity protects me. I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, I've heard enough. And then again, in that way, Texas and Florida have the same kind of cultural political miasma in that way. Guys that are just filled to bursting with Chinese mystery drugs, but like won't vaccinate their kids. Like just won't. They're like measles. Yeah.
No, it's getting bad. It's getting pretty bad here.
Who was the governor before DeSantis that was making all the money off those pill mills? Was that Rick Scott?
Rick Scott was he made his millions scamming Medicare, and I think he had to pay the largest fine in American history for his Medicare fraud, and then he became governor.
Yeah, there was I think he was involved allegedly, because I think it was him, but. And I don't want to whatever, but I'm pretty sure he was a part of one of the Florida. Y'all had that really bad in the heyday of OxyContin. If you wanted to open up a pain management clinic, you just needed a fucking birth certificate and a way to get Oxy. And I think it was Rick Scott or some other senator that was like basically lowering the legal threshold for opening up these places, and it contributed to like Florida's own mini opiate crisis before we hit the big one. Or whatever, which of course, again, as I tell people, it's the Wild West out here. You can't buy liquor on Sundays in this fucking state.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird.
So I mean, I guess we have the edge on you in that regard. I mean, I don't know which state is more alcoholic. I did see one infographic that shows that I think it's Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Wisconsin. So we lose that battle, but I just think people underreport exactly how much they're drinking here. I think that the drinking culture in Florida is more extreme than any other state I've been in, at the very least.
Yeah, I can, yeah, for sure.
I was also thinking there's a Zen koan in your governor here with like a tree falling on him. I'm trying to think of it. Like if a tree falls on the governor and no one's around
to countersue, is he ever able to walk again? Yeah.
I think we can come up with one later, but there's a good Zen koan there for our respective governors. You also have some pretty interesting future politicians. I hadn't really heard of him much, but now I see him in the news a lot. Ken Paxton just beat out John Cornyn for Senate, right?
Yeah. So funny thing about the latter, John Cornyn, one of my professors at school, was he did opposition research. So you know what opposition research is. You just dig up dirt and you sell that dirt to political campaigns. You're basically like a journalist mercenary. Like your information is, used for whomever top dollar. He was telling me that when he was in college in UT in the 90s or 2000s, that John Cornyn was filming a commercial where he was this cowboy, and he's got the vest on and he's got the lasso and he's on the horse, and he's like, the ad campaign, something was like True Cowboys for True Texans or something. My professor was like, John Cornyn is a fucking oil prince. He had never seen a goddamn horse in his life. And he was like, I was on set that day, and he was like, that motherfucker, they were like, nah, John, get on the horse. And he's like, I ain't going near that fucking thing. And they were like, John, you got to be a tough cowboy for the photo shoot. And he was like, you can't pay me no goddamn money to get on no fucking horse. And they were like, John, the commercial is you on the horse, so just get on the horse. And so you could find the commercials from back in the day, but if you could see it in his eyes, he's like gripping and he's like, I'm John Cornyn. And then apparently, like right after the cameras turned off, he like jumped off the horse and was like, that's John Cornyn. Ken Paxton, like cheating in the way that you're like, damn, like, you know, you hear about a buddy and he cheats on his girlfriend. You're like, dude, you didn't have to go, man. You're an asshole. She was a good girl. Kim Paxton was cheating in the way that's like biblical. You're like, brother, you need to go to jail for that. And
What's
then
the story there? I don't know the story.
he just his like he was running on all these guys run on these like family values stuff. And growing up conservative and in the church, I'm familiar with this gag, which is like the sins of Friday and Saturday are completely absolved on Sunday morning. And those sins on Friday and Saturday include going to the fucking titty bar, you know, while you know, wifey's at home fucking prepping the kids for T-ball. He was just a notorious philanderer. It just, you know, it's just like the kind of cheating where you're like,
fucking this guy. He's not. I mean, Greg
dude.
Abbott's a little more handsome. I mean, do Texas boys like? Is it easy for them to get play? Like, what's the deal?
I think it, like, again, I mean, I guess he's not fucking these women, but like, I was going to say Elon Musk, but it's like, if you have any amount of power and any amount of money, like, you could do pretty, you know, like, you'll find somebody. In Ken Paxton's case, I mean, you know, he found someone, and then he just got his friend off. His friend was facing life in prison for the repeated rape of his son's friend. And he just got the judge to commute the sentence to 60 days. And then the judge let him off in 30. I think he ended up doing less than a month. He's out now. He's done.
Adam Hoffman, I think his name.
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is he Jewish? Yeah. That sounds Jewish.
Maybe.
It's just like every time I'm just like, please don't be Jewish, please don't be Jewish, please don't. And it's just it's always a fucking
that
that
bio
bad PR.
Yeah, well, that bio lab they found in Vegas, the judge that let that guy off, she was in some interview I just saw it like 2 days ago. She was just like, yeah, they're never going to kick me out of being a judge because I know where the bodies are buried. And her name is like, it's one of those names where you're like, come on, like Vile Shlomo, where you're like, dude, come the fuck. Like the name is like Devil Almstein, and you're like, Jesus Christ, like I'm really trying here.
Yeah, it's like Pedoberg, you know.
Yeah, you know, like, dude, like, I'm one of the good ones.
Yeah,
like I'm doing my fucking best here. Yeah, yeah. So Ken Paxton, and now he's going after James Tallarico, who James Tallarico's a bachelor. And he's
probably gay, right?
That's what I was going to say. The rumor is he's lighting the loafers, as some would say. But I mean, they're like calling him like Low T Tallarico and Talafrico, and he was like, well, he like did some interview about Ken Paxton and was like, I mean, call me what you want. I didn't pull strings to get a serial rapist of children out of jail for life. And the interviewer was like, thank you, James. Like, you know, it's like, I mean, like the thing about Texas pilots, and it really, I mean, it's just True Detective season 1 was a documentary. It's like, I know Florida's trying to do the same thing. Like they're trying to do away with like public schools, and then they're trying to make Tuttle schools, like Our Lady of Molested Forever, you know, like like Our Lady of Eternal, oops, you're fucked up forever. Like it, you know, like that's what they're going for. And James Tallarico is like one of the guys fighting against that, even though he himself is religious. He's just not religious in the right way. Like that's another thing that unites the two states is like, oh, you're Christian. You know, you watch the Civil War, that movie. It's like, oh, we're American. It's like, what kind of American are you? Like that's Texas and Florida. Like, I'm Christian. And you're like, okay, what kind? The love thy neighbor kind, or the blow the whole world up and kill everybody and rape everyone kind?
Wait, you saw that one pastor who was like, he had fucking tactical gear on? Was that in Texas?
He had a gun on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a gun on him. He had a fucking Glock with like the holster on him. I'm like, Manchurian.
Yeah, man. We need like, why can't we have like a Constantine, like Keanu Reeves, you know, style pastor? I would get behind that. That's cool.
I think it's like, I'm not Catholic, but like, I think Martin Luther should have just kept his fucking treatises to himself. He should have just kept he should have just kept it because he just paid his indulgences and been fucking done with it. Because now we have shit like that. That's Protestant. That's Protestant churches. Those are the I know the Catholic.
I was hanging out with the last Shaker. His name's Brother Arnold up in Maine, and they're a Protestant monastic sect, and they're cool. They're the only Protestants I like, and I was telling him how much I hate Protestants, and he was railing against Catholics in the funniest way. And he did point out fairly, he's like, look at all these Supreme Court motherfuckers. They're all Catholics. They're also they're guilty too.
They have their own version of there's one half of them that's Catholics, feed the poor, live and let live. I don't care if you're gay. Come on into mass. And then there's, Deus Vult, fucking Opus Dei, all this stupid. I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent on that, but all these young people, I'm 32, all these young people that are I'm going to rebel by being a conservative Catholic is dude, just go do ecstasy and go to a fucking concert. What are we doing? You're going to rebel against society by doing push-ups and reading the fucking, the Old Testament. You live in student housing. What are we doing? I don't understand any of this. And that's
Did you
why
grow up Catholic?
No, I grew up Southern Baptist. So it's old time church, fucking.
That makes more sense because when I think of Texas, I don't think of Catholicism outside of the Mexican diaspora there.
Yeah. San Antonio and South Texas is real Catholic, but no, I'm from Houston, so it's a bit of a mix. But yeah, North Texas, Panhandle, it's all snake Protestant, like Pentecostal, snakes and tongues and wizards and shit. Which I guess is cool, but a lot of those guys run local counties and stuff. You were talking about the detention centers. A lot of the ones that are in Texas are in podunk towns. I was talking to you about this in the DMs. The one that I brought up was in Jenna, Louisiana, but there's another one in Dilley, and all these guys, no matter if you're picked up in fucking Milwaukee or you're picked up in fucking Oregon, there's a solid chance you end up in Texas, Louisiana, or Florida because the detention centers usually are in small counties or small towns where the judge, all the cops, everybody's a good old boy. Everybody now a good old boy can be white, a good old boy can be any race, creed, ethnicity, but they're in on the take basically. And that means not just money, but ideologically speaking. They don't see these people as human beings. These are beds to be filled. These are dollars in the bank, and lawyers and investigative journalists. You go down to these places in Dilley, Texas, or in Jenna, Louisiana, or down there in the Everglades. It's not like trying to go to the Manhattan Correctional Facility to get info on Epstein. It's even harder because it's you're down here in the fucking swamp, dude. Leave. I mean, people think I'm exaggerating for the sake of to tell a story, but it's no, you don't you can get hurt. People all the time, go missing and shit, looking into this stuff
my buddy Alex Salmon went to Jenna to visit Mahmoud Khalil when he was there, and he was just saying it was a 4-hour drive every time.
Yep.
It's not close. That's on purpose. And he was saying that the whole town's economy is entirely dependent on these prisons. And it's the same thing in a lot of these counties in Florida, Stark County in particular. There's almost you have the Bible Belt. You almost have a prison belt industry in Florida. Where it's just this is where, in the middle of the state, and alligator Alcatraz, which really, my theory is that Trump watched the Clint Eastwood movie Alcatraz, and there was that scene where Clint said the N-word and got the N-word pass. Trump saw that and then fell in love with that movie, and then James Ootmeyer and Ron DeSantis here in Florida were we're gonna make alligator Alcatraz to appease Trump. He'll think it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And then, the whole thing's they're undoing it now. Supposedly they're closing shop. And it's not even a
Yeah.
year. It was July 1st, 2025 that they opened Alligator Alcatraz.
Well, I mean, I remember reading that like I think over 100 people went unaccounted for in their records. Like the same thing happened in one of the facilities in South Texas where there's like a couple hundred missing women and children, and like in the same way that it's the swamp in Alligator Alcatraz, in the same way Jenna, Louisiana has a population of almost of 4,000. It's small, and it's in the middle of nowhere. You know, like people just it's very easy for people to just go missing. And that's what it's like, and that was always when these started popping up. I mean, they popped up under, and this is, I mean, you know, if you're anywhere left of Hillary Clinton, you've heard this. It's like, well, you know, 50 people died in ICE detention under Barack Obama. I don't hear you complaining about that. It's like I was complaining about that. Most everybody I fucking know with a brain was complaining about that. The only, you know, to the conservative fucking dog brain morons credit, like the media does choose when to highlight these things, and you know some of them they you know they ignore it when Barack double taps a wedding, but they'll make a big deal out of it when a conservative does, and that's just the nature of the beast or whatever. But yeah, like these places that popped up under the Obama presidency, at the very least, I mean they shouldn't exist at all, but at the very least they had like somewhat like, I wouldn't call them meticulous record keeping, but there was a regulatory body that was like, we have this many people moving in and out of here.
Democrats like rules. Yeah. They still even though they're evil, they still like the rules a bit more.
Yes. We want to make sure that when you're kidnapped from your home that you have a pillow on the bed that we give you before we ship you to fucking Djibouti. You know, like what's the old cliche hack joke? Like, we want to make sure there's a female in the guard tower, like that whole thing. But whereas with Republicans, it's like, yeah, I mean, we can just lose 100 kids. It's not a big deal. Like, you know, and I'm surprised they're shutting down Alcatraz. But I mean,
I'll tell you why. And it's funny, but like also infuriating. They thought they were being clever by skirting a lot of federal rules and regulations about building this facility. So even though Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency, which you can just do for any fucking reason now, I guess.
Yeah.
But we were being invaded.
Yeah.
So that was the reason for a state of emergency. But James Ootmeyer, the AG, what he's like, oh, you know what we'll do so that we don't have to deal with federal regulations about developing in the Everglades in a state preserve in Big Cypress. We're just gonna say this is a state-run program. And so what happened is that they're like, well, we're a state-run program. So when DeSantis said we're not paying for this is going to come from federal FEMA money, whatever, the Trump administration's like, oh, we're not paying for that.
Yeah,
that's on you now. So
yeah.
They're already initially right off the bat $600 million in the hole just to develop the thing, and there was just so much scamming. And then since then, so almost a year now, it costs $1 million a day to operate this thing. So we're talking about $1 billion boondoggle. And so that's why they're shutting it down, is just because it's too fucking expensive. You can't run a massive camp out in the middle of a swamp. That requires tons of diesel gas, requires tons of manpower,
desalination, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. And if that, I mean, and they're even skimping on that, right? Like they're like these people are fucking getting sick from drinking spoiled water,
brackish water.
Yeah, it's and so it's just so bad. It's just too expensive. They did the their cruelty cost benefit analysis, and like yeah, we had our run, that was fun. We made some merch, you know, and now we're moving on from that.
That's the sentiment that I've seen. So I'll credit Brace from TrueAnon for mentioning this, and then I went down a rabbit hole. But like, you can go if you have the time and you're bored, and you kind of, it's not a chuckle that you get, but you maybe a sense of Schadenfreude or whatever. But like, you can go on various law enforcement forums, not just Reddit, some that are a little bit more obscure. You just Google around, and ICE is hiring, obviously we know this, ICE is hiring anybody, the most knuckle-dragging, skull-cracking, dumb cocksuckers ever produced on God's green earth. and they're just talking about their lives, and the overwhelming sentiment is, well, over something that's happening to not a lot of them, but a good chunk of them, is they're coming home from work and their wives and their kids are gone. The wife left a note saying, "Hey, bye. I'm not doing this." And they're and
You're gonna explain.
there were so many, dude. There were so many entries that were like, "How are y'all dealing with the divorces? I came home. I drove like 4 hours back home from Portland. I drove back here to Northern California, and fucking no kids, no wife." Note said, some stupid. She's a stupid whiny bitch, liberal bitch. But so those guys' wives are leaving them. But to your point earlier, there's like two camps. There's like, okay, best case scenario, I get to make 70 grand a year, wearing tactical gear, getting a gun, getting to go and beat the fuck out of people. Yeah. And then if I do my 5 years, I get my 50K. Worst case scenario, Democrats win, they flip the House, I lose my job. But at least for 2 years or whatever, like they're resigning themselves to losing, which is that, the Democrats won't abolish ICE, but they'll probably cut some funding or put in some restrictions or some stupid not even half or quarter measure, eighth of a measure horseshit. And it's like, it's not just the institutions themselves that are seeing the wind change. It's like the individual officers and enforcement agents are like, fuck, not that they're going to experience any punishment, legally speaking, but that they're going, that their jobs, they don't have the job security that a year ago, when it seemed like, the administration has kind of speed ran its own fourth or fifth Reich, if you want to call it. Like, they've already shit the bed. Like, Marco Rubio's probably going to be the standard bearer. JD Vance wants out. I don't know if you saw that. Like,
I'm seeing them plan, like I'm seeing Tucker Carlson in particular sort of plan the exit strategy for JD Vance, that he can come back around and be the good guy. That's what I'm seeing.
I mean, Peter Thiel just is moving to Argentina because he in private conversations had expressed that he doesn't agree with where the U.S. is heading politically and is more aligned with Javier Milei's plan for the future. Which,
yeah, it looks like it's working out great there.
Right, but the thing about Mia is like he's so stupid, and like he even keeps, like, his inner circle is even dumber than Trump's. That like I think Thiel kind of overestimated how close we were to institutional collapse, and is now heading to a place that is much closer to full institutional systemic collapse.
Such a funny thing to do.
It's hilarious. Like, I like the guy is like, when people say fascists are opportunists, it's like, yes, that is like by definition true, but like he's literally just like, oh, this place is closer to where, okay, and I can install my surveillance. Okay, cool. They don't have as much opposition. Like, they have a history of suppressing left-wing thought in a way that even that it kind of rivals the U.S.'s suppression of left-wing thought, historically speaking.
Yeah, but I guess it's funny. I feel like Latin Americans are pussies for the most part.
Yeah.
I think that we're happy to kill people like at a distance, but I think that the history of Latin American revolution, even in Argentina to a certain extent, these are people who will fucking kill themselves to get at you. Like, they'll throw themselves on the fucking fire out of spite. So I feel like he's also underestimating the Latin American spirit.
I think the way that I see those guys is that, like, you're the smartest guy in a room full of people who can't read, and Thiel and Musk. Like, I will say this. I think the smartest of them is Miller. And I had this conversation with somebody else, and they're like, "You think Stephen Miller's smart?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do," because he's the one guy who didn't do all of, like, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Tulsi Gabbard, Kristi Noem. They all made the mistake of, you can't take the spotlight away from the Mad King. You can't do it. You let him have it. You let him think your ideas are his ideas, and his ideas are the best ideas, and you stay in your lane, and you don't get behind the camera too much. Greg Bovino did it. And now almost all the people I mentioned are shit canned, save for Pete and Cash. Like, Miller is like playing. I think he's in his mind playing the long game to where we do get like NSPM 7, like we get a full crackdown on left, we get a full crackdown on immigration. I think he's who said that? I don't want to. Doesn't matter. I remember who said it, but it's like I think he's all of those guys are underestimating. Like you're literally losing the mandate of wine mom heaven. Like you're making the wine moms squirmish, and you can't politically in America. You can't do that. Like people in suburbia, they will politically and ideologically support these policies, but when you have masked goons like walking down middle America, like while kids are on tricycles with big lollipops, like those people politically, they're going to shift away from you. They're not going to become left wing. They're not going to become communists.
Yeah. Do you see it in Texas though?
Yes.
You're seeing that in Texas?
Yeah.
I will say I'm not seeing that in Florida. I think that's the thing.
Interesting.
Right now, I do think that, and I think that the Paxton Tallarico race is interesting, and how I know it's Lucy in the football with Texas turning blue, which has been like a Democratic fucking
wet dream for 30 years. Dude. Yeah.
And now no one kids themselves with Florida turning blue anytime soon. I do think that Florida has taken that mantle. Now Florida is the center of conservatism, whereas once I think it was Texas.
Yes. So in the case of Texas, it's like Texas has too many big cities, and even the mid-sized ones like San Antonio and Corpus, they're like, again, none of these people are fucking like reading the Little Red Book, but all of them are like very angry, and they want the opposite. Even if they voted for Trump in 2024, like they don't want it anymore. And what by that I mean, like I'm related to a lot of these people that were like, yeah, we need to get the criminals out of here. I don't care how you do it. I want them gone. And then they started seeing, like everybody else was seeing, footage of children like being thrown in the back of vans, mothers being thrown to the ground. And that produces two types of responses in the average conservative mind. You go, oh my God, I just wanted the and this is what I think is happening to some of the podcast people. You're like, I just wanted the criminals gone. I like just genuine naivete and stupidity, which isn't forgivable. Like you should be punished for being stupid. I'm sorry. But then there's the like Sado populists who are like, yeah, that's exactly. I actually signed up for worse than this. You guys are not doing enough. And I think a lot of that has found home in Florida, and it has a home in Texas. Don't get me wrong. But there are so many big cities here that are like, no, like even if the candidate that rises out of the ether is a little bit too far left for our liking, we'll get behind him or her because we did not sign off or condone and endorse this.
I want to say I think that you're right that there's a different culture in like Floribama versus like the South and the suburbs and the mega developments in Florida. And I think that Floribama is a lot more like Texas. I think you guys have like a sort of cultural tradition that Florida lacks. Yeah. We are a white canvas for mercenary diasporoids.
Yeah.
You know, you guys don't have you guys don't have Cubans the way we have Cubans.
No.
Venezuelans the way we have
Dominicans.
I was thinking about this, like, who is your diaspora? It's just Mexicans, right? Like you guys just have it's just Mexicans. So even
the Asian community. So there's like a really strong like dude, every time I drive to Houston, there was before the election, it was up for like a year, a big ass red billboard of Trump like this, and then like with a China, I forget, it was like the skyrise photoshopped of like Shanghai behind him, and it said Chinese Americans for Trump. And I was like, how many guys is that? 10? Like how many fucking, I was stupid. Like, and it turns out there's a big
how's the Chinese food in Texas?
It's really good. But it's like, a bunch of, because Houston has the Port of Houston and Galveston, there are a ton of Chinese expats, like a ton of Chinese expats here that are like as far right as you can get. Like they want to make a bunch of money. They want to enslave Southeast Asians because there's like there's the Asian racial hierarchy of, you know, like in the same way that Hispanics, you know, where it's like Mexico's up here and then El Salvadorians are dogs for some reason, at least based on their own thing. And I learned that from my buddy who's El Salvador, and I was like, you're Mexican. He was like, no, I can't say that. Mexicans hate me. I was like, well, my point is like, I think also too, you guys have something in Miami that Texas doesn't have. which is that the framework of the scam, and by the scam I mean the Steely Dan royal scam, like what America is, like insurance is a scam, real estate's a scam, healthcare is a scam, driving is a scam, highways are a scam, scaffolding, construction, your teeth, everything, electronics, wiring, everything's a scam. Miami-Dade County is first for like scam,
Yeah, it's,
like
it's the fraud capital of the United States.
Yes, you go there to like, if you go there to go to college and get a degree, you're a dupe. You should go there to scam because you can. Like, you can do like I have friends who are like, I'm going to go to University of or FSU or University of Miami or whatever. I'm like, you should just go down there and sell drywall as cocaine and flip fake bricks. If you get caught, you don't go to jail for that long. It's not real coke. Like, yeah, you might get shot, but like, who gives a fuck? Like, I mean, like it's the amount of scamming that goes on in that county is like insane. And the difference, Miami-Dade County being like the scamming in the city versus the scamming in the poorer, or the crime that happens in the poorer, underfunded areas of that part of the state. It's like, you have like literal racketeering, like fake construction companies that do scaffolding projects that are never finished in Miami. And then you're like, who owns that? And you're like, oh, it's a guy from Florida and a Chinese guy from Texas. and they're like colluding on this ecosystem of scam culture where they're both scamming each other and they both know it, but they're friends. I mean, to the extent that thieves can be friends or whatever, but yeah, it's like, it's kind of mind boggling. And that same thing's happening.
It makes perfect sense that crypto found a home in Miami in particular.
Yeah.
I mean, and even our fucking mayor, the former mayor, God, what's his fucking name? Cuban guy, of course, who was accepting his salary in Bitcoin. A lot of Botox, a lot of surgery. He threw his hat in for president very briefly as well.
I think a lot of guys in Miami want to be Bukele. Like, I think a lot of guys like, and I think this is true about a lot of American politicians, where that intersection of technocratic fascism and then like just standard issue nationalism, like really, really worked for Bukele. And I think a lot of American bigwigs saw that and want to replicate it. Same thing worked in Tel Aviv. Like, they saw it work in El Salvador. They saw it work in Israel. And they're like, we can recreate it here. And I don't think Americans I think we are too docile enough to kill, but we are annoying. We'll be like, come on, dude. Come on, bro. Don't do that. And they're like, we're going to fucking do it. And if you don't, we're going to kill you. You're not going to kill me, dude. Come on. We're going to kill some of you. Okay. But like, I'm going to get 1 million guys to march. We're not going to do anything, but we're going to march. And I think a lot of guys like Teal and co are like, we don't even want to deal with the fucking marching. Can we just go somewhere where they're done? Like, they're just tired. Like, I'm not saying the Americans have a fighting spirit. I'm just saying we
lazy. I think we're lazy.
We're lazy. And like, also, not to sound like a fucking Reddit guy, but like, you start fucking with the treats and sodas, you're in for a fucking problem. Like, and I think that's happening in a real way. I think people are like, $5-6 a gallon for gas, and like beef's expensive. It's like, burgers and beer fucking too goddamn expensive. I can't handle this. They'll start voting differently.
I hadn't bought a soda in the longest time, and I went to buy like a 20 ounce of Diet Dr. Pepper. It was $4.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me? What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, if you go to McDonald's, it's like, you can just go to Chili's or something. Like, you can just go to like a sit down.
It's the same price now. It's comparable.
It's the same.
Yeah.
And with with the data center thing and the detention center thing, and we were talking about a little bit, like that in and of itself. Did you see so this AI company got because their COO on the website was just a stock photo of a young Asian girl with literally like the Getty thing still kind of visible.
I'm not familiar with this.
Okay, this is so funny. So this is what's happening in the surveillance state scam system right now, which is like, so this, I forget the name of the company, but this investigative journalist, I think I can't pronounce her last name. She's big on Twitter.
T-K-A-C-I-K. Yeah.
That chick, she quote tweeted the original thread. Maybe you can find it on her account. But so what happened was this person was on Twitter was like, I went to this AI like surveillance company's website and I found that their COO is a stock photo. And when I reached out to them about it, they, didn't respond. So I did a little bit more digging. The AI surveillance company that had just gotten contracted by Department of Homeland Security for the tune of like $3 or $4 million, it doesn't exist. The parent company, the guy reached out to the parent company that was supposedly the owner of the shell company, and the owner of the parent company was like, the guy was like, I'm not trying to save face here. I need you to work with me to figure out who this is because we are not the parent company. I do not know who these people are. Like, now this guy is like trying to like legally involved, trying to figure out why his company was labeled as the parent company of this AI. So anyway, the whole website ends up being fake. The company has one actual employee, and it's a guy no one can get a hold of. And he disappeared with like $4 million worth of Department of Homeland Security money to some proprietary AI software that was supposed to go in like a flock camera type deal. Didn't exist. And this is happening with data centers too, where they will get, so Texas is like football and then shady construction subcontractors. Florida has a similar thing too, but it's like, let's say you hire me to build you a $10 million building. Well, I'm going to hire a subcontracting company, pay them $6 million, pocket the $4 million. That guy is going to hire a subcontracting company, pay them 1.5, pocket 3.
It's subcontractors all the way down, isn't
and
it?
then a $10 million job becomes a $500,000 job, and the building falls down in 2 years, like that. And so that's happening with the data centers. They're getting like halfway built, and then the money funnel shuts off because somebody somewhere either didn't get paid or the subcontractor was not real. Like with the detention centers, same deal where it's like in the case of Alcatraz, Trump, because he runs the government completely, notoriously doesn't like paying for stuff once it's done. I mean, he was this way in New York. And so a lot of the detention centers end up halfway built. And then when it's time for the federal government to pony up, they're like, nah. And they're like,
yeah,
but sir, don't you want?
They're gonna stiff Florida for the $600 million that DeSantis was expecting, and that $600 million was from FEMA, or supposedly, and so we're taking like our state FEMA money, and we are about to have a hurricane season. We don't know what kind, and I mean,
us too, yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys get hit by that's another thing we share in common is we get hit by hurricanes.
yeah.
We haven't had a bunch of fucking little Christian girls drown yet, though. That's still your thing.
That shit, like, I think there's a certain type of Texan that, like, when the floods come, they're like, they make sure their wives take pictures of them driving their big ass trucks in floodwater to go help people. But they're like, I knew the lift kit was gonna...
We have that too. I know a guy. I can literally, I know a fucking guy. I know, like, going to write a story about him because he bought this like property on what was once the first public beach in my town of Sarasota, and he effectively privatized this public beach.
Oh,
and he was a youth pastor to insurance salesman pipeline.
Beautiful.
And yeah, he has a big ass stupid fucking truck. And when Hurricane Helene and Milton hit, he was out there posting, being like, "We got supplies. We're coming to help out." This mother was from fucking Michigan, though. That's the other thing is, like, I don't know what you guys have, but obviously there are very few native Floridians. I think 20% of Floridians are native born. Terminology you want to use, whereas everyone else is from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm mostly fine with. I mean, obviously, I don't want Cubans coming here, but it's too late for that.
Right, right, yeah.
But it's mostly Ohio River Valley, Midwesterners who have
Yeah,
descended
yeah.
upon us. So I don't know. Did you
Mhm.
guys have that problem too with these fucking Midwesterners?
There's a term that we have for people who come here in the winter. They're called snowbirds. So they're
We
usually
say
from
that
the
too, yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of those people just end up like they're rich, and so their second homes are usually somewhere in the hill country in Texas, or they're in Dallas. They'll just end up staying, and
Yep.
they're all cocksuckers.
No, same thing. Same.
They're all cocksuckers. Like I like ideologically, spiritually, like the Midwesterner and the Southerner are very, very close.
You think
Like
so?
they're so like the women are like kind liar. Like the older like Midwestern woman is like, oh bless your heart, like that. Like they have their own thing with that, and the men are these kind of like fake stoic real estate insurance salesmen. Like they're so uptight. The difference, the Midwesterners aren't as bloviating and as obnoxious as Southerners are, but it's that same kind of like duty to my country type fucking moron. And they
Protestants.
yeah, and they move to Texas or Florida, and they find that they're more, the weather's more amenable to their pasty white skin than fucking Iowa in the dead of winter.
Which doesn't make that's not the case, right? That's not
yeah
biologically how it works.
Yeah. It's again, I like the two states. I think that I keep thinking that like America is going to balkanize, and I think
cross my fingers.
I really think that they're gonna find a way to build a massive land bridge between Florida and Texas, and we're gonna be one thing. We're gonna be like a downwards devil horn across the entire Gulf, and like Louisiana will join in, and Alabama will join in, and we'll just be this fucking ass into the country with total freedom, and like the kind of freedom where like by that I mean like we'll lower the age of consent back down to 10. You know what I mean? You can have the biggest truck. You can have
no regulations.
None. Come down here and
Food
ruin the
poisoning country. Here we go.
Poison the water supply. Poison the water table. Poison it. Oh, dude! One of the funnier things that's happening in Texas politics right now is, and my buddy works for the Parks Department. He works with like the state Lower Colorado River Authority. They like make sure no one fucks with the aquifers like around here, because that's where the drinking water, Edwards Aquifer, is where the drinking water comes from. So there's a chasm currently, or a schism, whatever the fuck, growing between like drill baby drill, kill all the birds conservatives, and guys who are conservative but love the environment. And I know Florida, hunters. You have a certain like guys who are like ostensibly every other political take they have is like Himmler, but don't fuck with the birds and don't fuck with the flowers and don't fuck with the bees, which is tree huggers or whatever. And that's where there's like a kind of a rift growing in like local and state politics in Texas, is because Trump wants to turn like all of the fucking what's left of the national parks in and around the Permian Basin into just fucking oil sludge. And the people who live out there and who maintain that land are like, no, it's beautiful. It's like untouched. It's desert, but it's some of the best stargazing in the world.
I'm sure they do the same thing to you guys, where you could probably use desert and swamp interchangeably in terms of land. Like, oh, it's just swamp. Who gives a fuck about swamp? It's just desert. Yeah. Desert's not. Yeah. It's not forest. It's like this northerner sort of Yankee notion of what the environment should look like, which is like forests.
Lush
fields. Lush. It's like, no, it's not. And yeah, I've been hanging out with a lot of cowboys recently. Cattle ranchers in Florida happen to be, even if they might be, dumb fucking hicks, I like them. And they also happen to be some of the most important landowners in the state, keeping the land undeveloped.
Yeah.
Florida Panthers live in like these ranchers' backyards, basically.
Yeah.
But it is very frustrating when I see them like they still can't like decouple themselves from the conservative movement as a whole. And I think it's getting worse. I mean, again, I don't know if Tallarico stands a fucking chance against Paxton. I think if he hammers him on like like him fucking pardoning some pedophile, has Tallarico taken any APAC money? Is he an APAC boy?
As far as I know, as far as I can tell, no. But he did say, and I know this to be true from my time, like when I did like intern with people who worked at the Capitol, is it's like Texas is so attached at the hip to Israel because of the like the dispensationalist theology that runs rampant in the state, that he works with and does a lot of work for people who are like diehard Zionists. But no matter how far left you are in Texas, which is you can't get that far left in anywhere, it's just we are like this. Like it's Texas and Israel are so attached because of because the two billionaires who push a lot of the policy in this state, they're also the guys who like literally like breed red heifers to try and expedite the second coming of Jesus. I'm being dead fucking serious. I had to explain this.
You guys got Jews in Texas?
We don't have Jews, but we have people. We have Jews, but what we have are people who I had to explain this to my buddy Ben. We have people. So the like the Likudnik party, like the Netanyahu and those guys. Some of them are just driven by bloodlust and war. Texans politicians. Some are just driven by bloodlust and war. Some in Netanyahu's circle are holy war people. Like they legitimately believe that they're triggering the coming of their Messiah, the people in the Israeli Jews. We believe, like a lot of the people in Texans who work with them, it's so funny. There's a meme I saw. It's like the two scowling guys, and it's like this dumb retard thinks that he's going to bring his Messiah, but actually mine's coming back, and we're going to kill him. That's what's happening. Is the Christians in Texas are like, this billionaire in Texas only raises red heifers, and he sends them to Tel Aviv for some guy to look at the red heifer and go, yeah, not red enough. Boom, kills it, and then just sells the meat. But if we get the perfect red heifer, that means that we can start the holy war, destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque, destroy the temple, and then Jesus will come back. The Texas Christians say, and then we can all go to heaven, and all the Jews will be converted to Christianity, or they'll die.
No. I think you've only left room for 11,000 of us or something. I forget what the number is.
114,000.
Yeah, just a pretty small amount.
Yeah, so small.
It's so small.
and that's the kind of schizophrenia like that I have to remind myself, like there is the evil that is the cold calculating war hawk that's like maybe their Christianity is maybe they're Christian to some degree, but really what they're interested in is the buying and selling of death and human bodies and blood. Like that's like Iran and Israel are a means to an end because they're invested in Lockheed or Boeing or whatever, and it lines their pockets.
The materialist viewpoint,
yes,
right?
They're Christian, but then there are people who like Ted Cruz, like that camp, like they legitimately believe.
Really, you think Ted Cruz?
Yes.
I don't think he believes in anything.
I believe.
Really?
I think he. I don't think he believes in a lot of stuff, but if he believes in anything, it's that he's expediting the second coming of Jesus Christ. I wholeheartedly believe that.
See, I thought Louis Gohmert seemed like a true believer to me because he's just so I don't know. He seemed like someone who actually believed what he said.
Well, a lot of those guys, like again, it's like I have to remind myself, like whenever I get frustrated with some of these people, I go, oh, like I would just prefer it if you were just a kind of secular, warmongering, greedy bastard. But the cherry on top is you legitimately believe that you can trick God into sending his son back down here to like that's the whole thing. Dispensationalist theology is the belief that through the study of history and the Bible, you can quite literally trigger religious events that eventually trigger the second coming of Jesus Christ. A lot of the guys in Texas politics that are head honchos, they're dispensationalists. And
yeah, that's so funny to me. I guess in my experience, when I get close to these people, Like I just spent like a couple days with Randy Fine in DC.
Jesus Christ, you
And-
did?
Yeah.
Took an hour to get to what the fuck? How was that? What is that guy like? Hold on, wait, just go ahead. Sorry.
And I was also I just finished a story about the lectern guy, the J6 guy who's who stolen it. I just spent I wrestled him doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a story, and I hung out with him in his house. And so I've been hanging out with these people. I can think of a handful. There's like some other, for whatever reason I get in and around these people, and I just like Randy Fine. You'd think like he's wearing his kippah.
True believer.
You would think that.
Yeah.
You would think that he's got his mezuzah on the fucking Congress door. He's got a shofar. He's got like, but then I'm hanging around him and I'm just like, you don't. I bet you I could ask him to do a prayer. He couldn't do it. His
heart wouldn't be in it. It was like
I just don't think. To me, it's something else. I am of the belief that there are so few true believers out there.
Yeah.
And I think people can convince themselves of these things. And I think that like they do like get in such a fucking like fugue state with these feedback loops of attention and money that like they're like, oh, maybe it is true. I was lying. This was bullshit at first.
Yeah.
This was just an angle, but now maybe it's real. But like, I think that, gun to their head, you literally, I do want to put a gun to their head. But gun to their head.
Yeah.
I think they'd be like, no, no, I don't actually believe this shit.
Yeah,
like, let me go. Please let me go.
I had my old pastor used to say like, about, because we had a real small church, about the mega church guys, like, take away the cars, take away the clothes. Do you think he'd still be in the pulpit on Sunday? And that was a part of his sermon, because he like hated. He was a cocksucker, but he like hated mega churches.
Principled, maybe.
He ended up just opening a mega church. So like he betrayed himself immediately. But when back in the day, dude, back in the day, he was like, I remember that stuck with me. He was like, take away the cars and clothes. A lot of these men would not be preaching on Sunday. And I think I do think that's true for a lot of the guys, because like, for example, I don't like Thomas Massey's politics. I think people are so like anti-Israel that I've seen some people who I share a lot of political beliefs, people like this Massey guy. And I'm like, listen, he's right on this thing. But to their point, how fucking evil, like how ingrained and like kind of parasitic is the relationship where you have a guy who agrees with you on 98.9% of policy, but just goes the one way on this one, and you spend $20 million fucking dollars to primary with that Ed Allring guy. $20 million. Thomas Massey is a Republican. He's a conservative. And the two things that he would not budge on are kid fucking and Israel. He was like, if you want to bomb them, if you want to drop them in prison for the rest of their lives, you want to disappear these people, no problemo. But I want to see some people go to jail, and I don't really want to be coupled with this state of death. And they're like, fired, get him out of here. Like, and that was crazy for me to see, because I don't know why I wouldn't call it crazy. I wasn't surprised, but I was a little taken aback. I was like, damn. Like, either you're 100% in or you're 100% out. And I think, taking it back to the state thing, like, you're seeing that happen in Texas. And I don't know enough about Florida to say the same, but like, in terms of the Trump camp, like, people are breaking with MAGA, not in large numbers, but some of them are like realizing like, you're either, there's no room for 99.9% in. You can't be even a decimal point out. You have to be 100% in, or
well, that's what they did with John Cornyn, right? He was like 99.8% in.
Yeah.
And that wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's not enough.
I think Florida's interesting. I think we have a lot more America firsters in Florida right now. I think James Fishback is a good example of this. I know, what a fucking dude. I love this guy so much. I'm trying to hang out with this guy soon, because he's not going to win. So I'm trying to hang out with him while he's still like media hungry.
Yeah.
And my goal is to get him to break his like Elizabeth Holmes style of speaking, to be like, you don't talk
Yes.
like this, dude. That's not your
You
real
don't.
voice. Like, I know
Also,
you're not saying your real voice.
what cracks me up about Fishback, and I'm going to speak in a language. I don't think you have a lot of Groyper fans, but if anybody catches this, and there happen to be one, you guys can't even find a white Ubermensch. James Fishback is a half brown Jew. He's a half brown Jew. Like all these guys, like this America First white nationalist movement, you can't even find a white guy. Nicholas Fuentes is a half Mexican closet case Catholic. James Fishback is a half Colombian Jewish guy. Like, you can't even find, like, I don't know, like, how hard is it? Because I think to myself, politically where I land, I could find somebody who would check off all the boxes, socialist, brown, gay, and I could throw them up and be like, here's your candidate. They're right here. If you're the diametric opposite, find me a white, blonde, blue-eyed person, male, who's Christian and tradition. They can't find one. They can't. Well, it's crazy.
I did when I was in Congress the other week. I did shake hands with Brandon Brandon Gill.
I don't know. I'm not sure who he is.
He's your freshman congressman in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Very handsome in his pictures, but in person, a fucking dweeb, dude. A guy I would have fucking bullied in high school. I was like, you're not Chad, bro. Like,
I know who this guy is.
Yeah. I met him in the Capitol building, and I was just like, first of all, you're short. Number two, like he like, I think he photoshops his chins in photos, because I was just like, you're weak, dude. You're weak.
I'm looking at his he does the Clark Kent S curl, and it does look like in some of his pictures he's making it look to where he has a stronger jaw than he actually does.
But in some of his pictures, dude, fucking weak chest, dude. Bad posture. I was blown away. Funny. I was like, bro, what is this? What's going on?
That's so
right
funny.
Now? Also, Randy Fine, he's fat, right? He's fat in person, but he's like square. He's like, it's like he's blocky. He's not blobby. He's blocky, which really threw me for a loop. I was just like really trying to figure out. Also, kind of a short guy. So that was interesting. But so sorry, to get back to like the like movement away from Trump. I do think that Florida is also a little bit ahead of that in Texas, maybe. I don't know. You can correct me on this, but we have Fishback, right?
Yeah.
Who he won't completely distance himself from Trump, because he's made like the whole anti-Israel thing his whole fucking shtick.
Yeah.
And it's working for the Zoomers. I do think that Trump is going to lose. Like the Republicans are losing the Zoomers. After just having won with them previously. Mm-hmm. The other character we have, who I'm actually going to go hang out with him next week, is Dan Bilzerian.
Oh yeah.
Because he's running against Randy Fine for Congress on a
Dan
purely,
is? I thought he had felonies.
Man. I think you can run. You just can't vote. You can run. You just can't vote.
Oh, I didn't know if you could have you could hold office. I guess. I mean, Trump's got like a fuck ton. I guess it doesn't matter, but
we'll see. Like we'll see. He has. We'll see. I see him I'm hanging out with him on the 9th of June. The 11th is the final filing date, and he has to have all his shit in order. And I don't think he's got. I was talking to his campaign manager, who's like this 22-year-old minor league baseball washout, and I'm just like, this is like so fucking awesome. And so I'm gonna go hang out with him, but he's running entirely on I hate the Jews campaign, and it's so fucking crazy. I mean, like, I think so. We'll see.
Yeah, I think Jake Lang is
Florida. He ran for Senate. For the special election for Marco Rubio's seat, but didn't come anywhere close to it. And that was before he started going to like Minnesota and making a fool of himself. So
yeah, that lady with the big mouth, who I think might be like actually mentally challenged, Valentina Gomez, she came to Texas and tried her shit. She tried her shit, and that's what I mean by like the decoupling it's quite literally just it's the Israel thing and it's the Epstein thing where like I swear to God, if the far right could produce a pro environment, anti Israel, actual release the files and arrest people candidate, they could fucking win at least the 18-30 by now. Could they win the election? I don't know, because the problem I think in Florida, the same as in Texas, but especially in Florida, is boomers they don't care about Epstein. They don't care. Many of them are probably pedophiles in their personal lives, but like I was
Aspirational too.
aspirational, right?
They see Epstein, they're like, that sounds like fun.
Right. They're like
Yeah.
they're like a guy with his own island having sex with teenage girls. Sign me up. Yeah. Like I know. I'm related to some real fucking ping like backwoods dumb motherfuckers, and some of them are like backing away from Trump, and then some of them are like quite literally. I've heard them say shit like, I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, what man wouldn't? Talking about like the pageant girls or like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
If my daughter looked like that, you better believe.
And it's all boomers. I think it's like
Yeah.
they grew up in a world where if you followed a girl around enough, you just married her. You know what I mean? Like if you went up to a girl in junior high and said, "Hello, I'm Eugene," and she said, "I don't know," if you followed her around for 10 years, eventually she would marry you because she would be scared, and then she would have 8 kids with you and hate herself her whole life, and probably get sent to an insane asylum at some point for thinking too much. But like the guys who didn't get to like cash in on that gold, they're all voters. They all live in Florida. They live in Texas. They live in like Northern California, and they're like, they don't care. Like they're either pro-Israel or they just hate Muslims. That's another thing that like I'm seeing, like not the decoupling, but like the issue is not so much what Israel is. It's just, well, the people in Tel Aviv are white and the people I see on the TV are not. So I'm just pro-Israel, I guess. When in reality, like, you know, like Palestinians,
they're brown as fuck in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, well, also like, dude, one of my favorite things I saw recently was like, he was some right wing, one of those guys with like 500,000 followers on Twitter, and his name is like the Alpha Bear. It's just he's got a check mark and he's got like an AI profile picture, and he posted a picture, or someone like replied to him with a picture of Tehran, and everybody in the picture was white. And there are different ethnic, like, and fair skin, people with fair skin. But they're like, do you know what Iran means? Iran means land of the Aryans. The people here have blue eyes. And then they were like, he was like, no, that's you guys are, this is AI. And they were like, and then people were replying to him because he made some comment about like, you know, the Muslim world and racist bullshit. And all the replies were posting like shit like, this man's from Afghanistan. He has blue eyes and he has fucking blonde hair. Yes, there are people from Afghanistan who are like darker skin, but do you understand that just like in America, like we have a blah, 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 the Middle East, and again, it's like arguing with a brick wall with these people. But the thing I take away from it is the closer you are to the American imperial core, both literally in terms of geographical distance, but also in terms of like ideological death cult, then you get a pass. If you're at odds with it, then you don't. And that's like the boomer mentality or whatever, you know?
Yeah. So I guess like to kind of bring things full circle here, it does feel like Texas and Florida kind of teeter in that core, right? Where is the core of the imperial core? Where is it located? And I got to say, I think we're winning right now. I think that Florida, I think we got you beat. I think that for a period of time it was Texas, or at least more so Texas than Florida. But now it's here. It really feels like this is the death cult.
Yes.
This is where the boomers are going. You know, we're gonna have
and the Zoomers, like all the like, you know, nihilistic. What did Matt Christman call it? Like that Zen nihilism, like all the like, hey, the world's over, so I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. Zoomers, like the streamers, they're not going to Houston. Like
no,
they're going to Miami. Like
it's the perfect place because that's the first place that's going bye-bye. Everyone says it's
yeah.
New Orleans. No.
Houston or Galveston,
No, it's Miami. You guys can build fucking levees.
Mm-hmm.
All the water, Florida's limestone. The water goes underneath and up under. So there's just no stopping it when it happens. And my feeling is good fucking riddance. I am so looking forward to Miami literally sinking into the sea, being taken in, being like the worst version of Atlantis possible. You know, like we will tell stories of Miami later and it'll be like a bizarro Atlantis.
Well, also, you guys have the privilege of like, we don't have this so much in Texas. At the border with the DEA, we have our own little thing, but like, and the CIA too. But like Miami, as the thing with Cuba's heating up, like, you guys have it's so funny. I remember like reading old cables and like, you know, diaries and like books featuring interviews with people who worked for the CIA at the height of the Cold War. And it was the biggest, if you got stationed in Miami, it was like cha-ching. Cause like sometimes you were stationed in fucking Alaska and it was like, fuck, like, God damn it. I'm here all year. You know, I got to fucking like literally fish and live in a fucking hut. And I got to check in with my station chief who lives in Fairbanks and like an air conditioned, blah, 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 blah. I've got to decrypt these stupid Soviet codes. And then all the guys that got stationed in Miami were like, yo, I'm getting pussy out here. I'm snorting yayo, the best cocaine, 1981 cocaine.
Oh,
the best
I mean, they must have been.
Yeah, like, and now that the thing with Cuba's heating back up, it's like, because I have my own theory about like how many CIA agents go through Joe Rogan's Comedy Club a month, and I think it's about 10. I'm wondering like how many of the streamers have handlers. So, Clavicular's new handler. He's an Israeli. He's one of the most feared Israeli mobsters in the fucking world. Like, break your legs. His name is Hai Wakan. I can't pronounce it. HAIWAKNINE. Hai Wakanine. And after Clavicular OD'd,
High whack a guy.
Yeah, I whack a guy. Yeah. Like he's an insane. Will Summer, shout out to him, broke this story. But after Clavicular like OD'd and shot that alligator with a fucking Glock 19. This guy comes and is like, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to see. I'm going to take you to heights never seen before. All you got to do is fucking shill for my betting company online who's headquartered in fucking Tel Aviv. And this guy's like for real scary. You can Google a picture of him. He looks like a fucking psycho. And there's so much like I feel like Miami and Tel Aviv are like, it's like sister cities. It's like it's you know, prostitution and rape and drugs and gambling and like just an evil that like at least New York's evil in a cool way. You're like, you know what? It's New York City. Chicago, you know, the Teamsters and the mob, and then like LA is like seedy and it's cool. Houston even is kind of Houston's seedy in a cool way. Miami? Like, I'm sorry, no disrespect, but like when people are like, I'm moving to Miami, I'm like, fucking, you should kill yourself on the plane. Like, make sure that plane hits the fucking ground, because you are in for a fucking rude awakening. I don't want to keep you too long. I know we've been doing it for a while.
No. Are you gonna watch the San Antonio game?
I only watch MMA or kickboxing. Like, I don't really watch sports.
That's very Miami of you.
What? Don't you guys? I thought you guys were like the Heat and all that other shit. Like, you guys like
MMA's big in Miami in particular.
I only watch combat sports really. Like I'll watch a baseball game, but I don't enjoy
your
it.
Your boy Wemby is a Maoist. Yeah. He's a Maoist.
I know.
So
this shit's so funny, dude.
You should probably get behind him. I think.
I think it's to be a 7'8" like French Maoist who's like also like people are calling him like the next LeBron. It's so funny. It's like when
so much fun. Very exciting.
When Mike Tyson like showed off his fucking Che. Does he have a Che Guevara or a Mao Zedong tattoo?
He has a Che tattoo.
Yeah. Dude, that interview where he was like, when I was in prison, you know, that I was reading all these books, and the one that spoke to me so much, and I know it's gonna sound crazy, but it was Mao. It was Mao and Che. You know, I know a lot of guys in prison, they convert to, you know, whatever the fuck, Islam or something. But I just thought the only person that spoke to me was Che and Mao Zedong. And I was like, you were in prison for the worst thing a human being can do to another person. But to like have your awakening to realize the error of your ways, to be like Che is like, all right, like, hey, you know what? I'll take it or whatever.
Yeah, but he's like all over the place now, man. I mean, he's in the Rogan sphere, you know. I mean, my favorite Mike Tyson moment was actually when he talked about how he was going to eat the guy's children. Then he goes, "Praise to Allah."
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I have the soundboard on a Pendejo Time soundboard of him. Like, I'm gonna fuck you till you love me. Like just the shit.
Yeah.
Like just like I'll suck your dick. I'll come over here and suck my. Like it's like, hey, hey, take it easy. Yeah.
In spite of everything, I still like Mike. I actually met him here at the Ritz-Carlton, and
damn, you're meeting all kinds of people.
Yeah, well, Florida, dude, there's this weird nexus here in Florida.
Yeah,
and
Austin's kind of
after I write this Randy Fine story, would love to come on your show and tell you the story and all the crazy shit about Florida. My favorite claim to fame about being from Florida, it's a little apocryphal, but on 9/11, that was my school. I was there. That was George Bush was talking at my school.
Oh, no way. That's crazy.
And like right down the road from me right now, the Shamrock Pub. That's where Muhammad Atta would go and have beer. You can drink beer at the Shamrock.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
And Catherine Harris, who gave the fucking election to Trump, or not Trump, Bush.
Yeah,
they're 2 blocks down from me right now.
Yeah,
it's like
I forgot about
here. Man.
Yeah, I forgot about how important like Florida was. Like, because obviously that mosque in New York, where like all those guys, went in and out of and the FBI guys and the CIA guys. But I forgot that Florida played a pretty crucial role in a lot of that stuff too. And then the 9/11, the ever expanding 9/11 narrative of like, I'm sorry. There's just always so much to talk about, but like the election thievery narrative is so hilarious to me because like I don't have like when people are like, do you think the election was stolen? I was like, this is America. Every election
every single one
everyone has been stolen or shaved or something. Like I have friends of mine, God bless them, like I have conservative friends, but I also have liberal friends who are like, the election was not stolen for Joe Biden and Trump did sketchy stuff in 2024 with Elon to steal the election. And I'm like, in 2000, Gore won. Like I was a kid
in front of your fucking face.
I was 6 years old, so it didn't click. I read about it in college later, and like I blew my mind. But like I was like, Gore. I remember like taking a class on politics and mass media was the name of the course. And we read this really good book called Amusing Ourselves to Death by Neil Postman. And then my professor was going off. He was also an analyst for like CNN for a little while. He was going off about the election in Florida. He's like a blue dog Democrat, like a Southern Democrat. I'd probably put him like left of center by like an inch, gun owner, hunting, whatever. Anyway, he would go off on these tangents, dude, where I thought we were going to have to call an ambulance. He would turn beet red and he would be like, they stole the fucking thing. I was watching the fucking election results in my fucking apartment in fucking Amherst getting my goddamn PhD. And I said, yep, Gore took her home. And then I wake up in the fucking morning and Florida's got 185,000 new votes. And I of course, go to the rabbit hole and I'm like, damn, they didn't even try to hide it. I mean, they just stole it.
Do you know who helped steal it? You know who's part of the legal team with Roger Stone?
Who was
Ted
it?
Cruz. Ted Cruz was here in Florida.
That tracks.
He helped orchestrate the Brooks Brothers riot. And they stole it in front of our face. I saw it happen again with Andrew Gillum. I was volunteering for his campaign, and that's the year that Ron DeSantis won the governorship by I think just like 3,000 votes, something very minor. And they just in Broward County, like massive Black Democratic population, they're just like, we're gonna stop counting the votes right now. Actually, sorry.
Yeah.
That does. Everyone's
that
fine
happens.
with this.
I remember when I the last time I voted for anything was Sanders in the primary in 2020, and that was a radical like that. The month after that was like a radicalizing. I've had several in my life. One was just like being born with no money, And then and then like you have several in your life where you're like, you have your political journey or whatever, and then you end up in a certain place. And like one of those for me was like having like, you're like, oh fuck, this old cocksucker might do it. And then it's like, I
Then
believe
COVID happens.
well, I also wholeheartedly believe Barack Obama is like,
Yeah.
I think he's like the boss of bosses, like literally like a mob boss of the Democratic Party, because within 2 weeks, everybody drops out and gets behind Biden. Like after Bernie wins like a couple states where he was like gonna lose, and he just took a couple home that he wasn't supposed to. It was like, oh, no, like Barack Obama's calling Buttigieg like, hey, let's go on ahead and fuck this off, big guy. Come on, we're gonna get behind this old, and I don't know if you'd call that stealing, but that's what I mean by like the royal scam or whatever. Is it's like when people are like, well, this election was fair, and I'm like, there's nothing free or fair in America. Like the only fairs we have are the ones where we give away funnel cake to big fat fuckers. There's nothing, and like the only thing that's free is a gun, and you put in your own mouth and kill yourself. Like there's no such thing as free or fair elections in this country. Like it drives me crazy when 2028. Like it's almost like did you ever play like sports when you were young?
Yeah,
like
I'm a big sports guy.
Yeah. What did you play?
Basketball.
You play basketball? Okay. I had a coach in baseball that was like, and all the coaches I've had, boxing coaches, jiu-jitsu coaches, not all of them. Some of them are like genuinely like honorable guys. But I've had coaches be like, yeah, if the ref ain't looking, put your thumb in that dude's mouth. Like for the jiu-jitsu guys, if the ref ain't looking, cup his fucking nose and fucking yank that motherfucker up. Club him. Like my wrestling coach would be like, yeah, club that motherfucker. Because the thinking is, if you're not cheating, you ain't fucking trying. And
it's very Israeli. That's a very Israeli, I think.
Yes.
And so it's literally it's the same. I think they call it being a freier, right?
Oh yeah, where you get
that's funny. It's like being a sucker. If I'm not scamming someone, that means I'm being scammed. It's that kind of logic, right? But what's funny is like I grew up playing sports in such a way where mostly I played organized ball, but in the end I started traveling the world playing street basketball. And
nice.
It's very
That's
interesting how like the rules organize themselves, right? Even though there's no singular authority, it's just like you all kind of collectively create rules and culture.
House rules.
And but what I found was like I would bring with me everywhere I went, like I wanted to be honorable. It was so important to me to just be as honorable as possible, to never cheat, to never lie. Like if it was out on me, I'd be like, that's me. Like it's your ball. And when people would try to take advantage of me, even people would take pot shots, it was of the utmost important to me not only to always be on the underdog team. Like I never wanted to be a ringer. I never wanted to be the best players. I'm like, no, I'd rather be with I'll be with the scrubs. I'll play with the scrubs. Like that's how. And so obviously that's not universal, but it's what was I don't know if basketball taught me that or if I came to that with basketball before I understood. But I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think that is like, it creates such a terrible culture. It's a bad game to watch. It's a bad game to play in.
And it's a bad, like one of the things I won't like in both in the micro aspects of my life and in the macro, like from my own experience, like I've been doing Muay Thai since I was a kid. And my current coach right now, like I've had a couple I had like one fight with him and then I've turned down every other one because I hate cutting weight. But anyway, this guy, like, I help a lot of guys who are in camp. So like they need sparring partners, like he's like, hey, can you help so-and-so? And it's legal in Muay Thai to stomp knees. Like to stomp somebody's knee and like tear their ACL and their MCL.
It's legal.
It's legal. I've never, even in competition, I never did it. And sometimes, a lot of times, I can't say a lot of times, I don't want to speak for everybody, but if like you compete, especially in kickboxing, there's a gentleman's agreement where like before, because a lot of times you're getting your hand wrapped next to the dude you're fighting. And like, I'll just walk up and be like, hey man, I'm not stomping your knees and I'm not elbowing you in the head. We're amateurs. Like in professional, fuck it. We're getting paid. Like, fuck it. Everything goes. But in the Amis,
they're barely getting paid. Yeah.
Barely. Yeah. But like for me, it was always like in the amateurs, like I'm paying for parking at the fucking little rinky dink sports bar we're fighting at. Like I have to get this shit validated. I'm not getting my knee stomped and making no money. So But
Yeah.
my coach that I have is like, no, you stomp his knee. Like you stomp his knee if the ref's not looking, trip him. He's like, they're gonna like this is fighting. And but I told myself, to your point, like I don't ever want to let that darkness win. Because I see like, it's like you see people who let it win and life is easy for them. Like they have like there's something that I always have to fight with this, like, oh, like the guy, like the worst people in the world are having the time
They're
of their
miserable,
lives.
right? Like, yeah, the rich people actually, they're unhappy. I
That's
have
such
to
a
tell
cope.
myself that.
That's
I have
it's
to tell
dude.
myself that.
It's such a cope because like in my mind, like I think about like, okay, so you're rich and you're in a world that's made for you, and you're protected by the law but not bound by it, and you get to bind others who are not protected by the law. So why would you be unhappy? Like people,
So I
people
have an
will.
explanation for this.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, I also seem to know a handful of billionaires. I'm close to a couple of them here in town. There's just a lot in Sarasota.
Yeah.
And they are miserable. Like there's something there where I think that when, especially the kids of the billionaires have it. I really don't envy that, And some of them are good. Some of them like are perfectly like nice people, but the kind of inexplicable misery that they experience. Whereas, yeah, if you're like poor or if you're unfortunate, you have like it makes sense. You're like, this is why I'm unhappy. Like you can like, there's a better story you can tell yourself. But if you're fucking rich and there's no excuse and you're still unhappy, that kind of misery is. I mean, obviously everybody would rather be a billionaire than homeless. I don't think anybody would choose
for
the
sure.
other. But there is something like, I think, more spiritually satiating, I guess, about misery when it makes sense to you versus like when you're just like this mist. It's like, when you're sick and there's no diagnosis for why. You're like, I don't know why I'm in pain.
Yeah.
Like I need a doctor to tell me why, right? I need a name for this thing. Being rich and miserable is like having an unnamed, unknowable like illness that you just like are constantly feeling. And so there is cope in that. I admit, I would be the first to admit it, that like I have to think of this just to keep going on being like, they're actually unhappy,
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of truth to it too, I think.
For sure. I've met my fair share of like pretty like really wealthy people. I mean, I went to a private like university on scholarship, and I had never seen like kids. I mean, I drove a 1998 old Ford Crown Victoria on the campus my freshman year, and like was parking next to like Range Rovers and G Wagons and like, and I was like, what the fuck?
You left your windows down, didn't lock the door. You're like, whatever.
I was like, this is like, it's a $60,000 a year school. And like, and I made friends with some of them and I met their families, and I came away with this idea of like, in the same, not in different ways, like abject poverty, like psychoanalysts and psychiatrists and people with therapy and philosophy, whatever, they know that poverty can like rewire neural pathways in your brain to like, you're not like other people. Like your reward system's all fucked up. Like you don't know how to save money. Like it's not like bad habits. It's like you live in a different reality. So your brain's fucked up. I think, and there's so much money and research that goes into studying the minds of the poor that like no one really studies the mind. I think the kind of opulent drive that guys like Elon, I think it's a profound mental illness. Like Richard Wolff, the Marxian economist, talks about this. It's like yes, we know what poverty does to the human mind, but we don't know as much about what like opulent, what not upper middle class, like, oh, daddy makes $500,000 a year and in the summers we vacation. Not that. We're talking about like guys who's like, if they go outside, like stocks change just because they mowed their own lawn one day. Like the gardener didn't do it. Like there's a candid photo of Jeff Bezos and he's squeegeeing the windows in his yacht. And it's like, fuck it. Amazon's down 10%. What the fuck? This guy's squeegeeing his own goddamn windows. Like, what the fuck's happening? Like that type of wealth has to, I believe, to your point, it has to do something to you that like we don't really understand. Like and of course those guys are not going to subject themselves to like genuine psychoanalysis or any type of study or whatever. They don't need to. Like empire reality bends around them like light. Like why would they? And so like I think about guys like Bezos and Musk, where like I think Musk is miserable. Like there are certain things money can fix, but money can't fix being a fucking loser.
I mean, he's the most blatantly
Yes.
miserable one, but he's also the most. He puts himself out there the most to be seen and judged. More so than Bezos. I think if you put Bezos out there a little bit, I always love that clip of him trying to feign empathy for William Shatner after he comes.
I was
down
just
from the
thinking
Blue
about
Origin.
it. Just thinking about it. Yeah. Where William's like, "This, I'm an old man, and you've given me a privilege to see," and he just starts going,
yeah.
With the
He's like, "Hey, I want one of those. Give me one of those."
Yeah, and
you're
like,
just not human, man. I mean, you know.
well, it's like some guys. I think I don't have a term for it, but like line go up disease, like Mr. Beast, like the guy doesn't. I don't think he cares about like anything except line go up, and that means YouTube views and money. Like Bezos, I don't
Which
think
can go up exponentially. Yeah, there's like no end. There's no peak of the mountain here. You know,
for sure.
It's endless. It's endless, and that's what I think about. It's like, you know, when you play those games like Galaga, where there's no boss at the end. It's just high score.
Yes,
high score.
Yeah.
I don't want to play that.
No. Well, also I don't like it's like I said, like working class people are miserable because of like exploitation and all these things, right? It's like, you know, I would rather be miserable with a bunch of money, but again, to your point, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I remember that study that came out that's like, you know, the Goldilocks amount of money for someone,
$75K or something.
70 to 100,000 a year is this range.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
That's way outdated now.
I know, yeah, and it's like, but I'm like, okay, like, you know, what happens after that? Like, you know, because I have friends who like podcast friends who make like they're millionaires and they're chilling. They're podcasters. What's there to not chill about? You know what I mean? But like, and they're the richest people I know. But then I'm like, oh, I met a guy one time who's a big B billionaire who was a friend of my friend's dad, old Texas oil money billionaire, who like was complaining about $185,000 tax bill. And he was like, yeah, I'm trying to find a way out of it. It's really been giving me a stomach ulcer. And he was like complaining that like that was giving him ulcers. I was like, oh, like you could produce from your hand, like just materialize like a fruit. Like you could do magic in front of me. I wouldn't understand. Like you live in a world I don't understand. Like I can't even pretend to comprehend it or whatever. Like it's your miseries to me are incomprehensible. Like your anxieties, like my buddy who grew up rich. I told him, yeah, my parents don't have a savings account. And he's like, oh, they're tied up in stocks, right? And I was like, no, like my parents do not have a savings account or retirement. They're going to work till they're dead. And then he's like, dude, shut up. It's like, what is it? Tied up in real estate? Like my uncle's like that. It's all fucking tied up in real estate. He has no money to his name, supposedly. And I'm like, no, my mom has $0 in her savings account. My dad is dead, but before $0. And he was like, no, they got to do something about that. And I'm like,
he couldn't even imagine.
It doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make it.
And that's the vast majority of Americans.
Yeah. Yes, like 60% of people don't have like 1,000 saved up for, you know.
I think that the average is like $800 in their savings.
Yeah, which is like, how do I say this? Is this going to be Patreon or free?
Free.
Free. Okay. All right. A lot of people, something has to happen to like a lot of people. Like I don't know how else to phrase it, but like I was joking about this with Ben on his show Lemon Party, where he was like, what's the breaking point? And I was like, I don't know. I thought the breaking point was summer 2020. I thought I was watching it. Like people call it like the summer of hope. I was like, I thought I was watching it. And then I have friends who are older. I'm in my early 30s. I have friends of mine who I met in school and whatnot that are in their 40s and stuff, that they thought it was Occupy, because Occupy was a global movement. Like it was in countries around the world. And they were like, yeah, I thought it was 2011. And then again in 2020. And it's like, do you know Vincent Bevins? He wrote the Jakarta Method and If We Burn. If We Burn's a great read. I'm like, what's the breaking point? Is it $10 a gallon gas? Like what, like every year the pot doesn't boil over. Like I ask myself a new set of questions, like, what, like, is there one? Like, because there has to be one. Like, there's no society in the history of the world that eventually doesn't reach it. But I'm like, where is ours? You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know the answer. Because for me, it's like it should have been Occupy. Like I think about the financial crisis. I was 13 when when it crashed. And so I was politically aware, but in the way a 13-year-old boy is. I just watched Fight Club. I was like, yeah, bleh. But I'm like, what is it? Like, if it's not that, or whatever, if it wasn't the great,
I feel the same way. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if you've ever been in one of those relationships where you're like, this is the breaking of this.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the final straw.
Let me go back and get my phone charger.
Exactly. And then it's almost just easier to like be like, okay, fine, let's just keep doing this.
Yeah. Stay together for the kids. Yeah.
I don't want to deal with the fallout, whatever. I wonder the same thing all the time. And I mean, it has to be material, right? It has to be such a even the financial crisis was, nobody knows how the economy works. So then, like,
right. Yeah.
I don't know actually why. I think that it is going to be a material thing. And I do think that I'm an optimist. I'm a humanist. And I do think that when people are faced with certain kinds of disasters, they do look after each other. I think there is
I've seen it.
Innate humankind. Yeah. I believe
hurricane season.
I have to believe in that. Although I do own a lot of guns now, so
of course,
there's a part of me that's hedging my bets as well. Where I'm like, okay, but just in case, in case, America turns into like the West Bank, where all these Christian nationalists are like Zionist settlers, and I have to fucking deal with them, then maybe I do want an AK-47. I do need that. But I wonder the same thing. It doesn't make a lick of sense to me, and it really is. We keep getting this promise of rupture.
Yeah.
I feel like a Seventh-day Adventist, in this idea that Americans are going to wake up, that there's going to be some Messiah realization of how fucked we are and how fucked we've been and who the real enemy is. But they just keep stringing it along. Like the
kick the can down the road.
They really get it going. Like they're really good at elongating this thing, and that's the credit I will give these people. Otherwise, I think that the masters of the universe are fucking morons. But they're really good at keeping it together in spite of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of lessons were learned by both sides during Occupy and directly after the housing crisis. Like the lessons that I think that we learned as people, I don't mean just as Americans, like this is it worldwide. We know the score. Like people are always like, I sometimes I'll hear people say like, once Americans get class conscious, I'm like, we have it. Like we have it. Like when there's polls that they'll run with like conservatives, Democrats, and independents. And it's like, do you think there's too much money in politics and the greedy are too corrupt? And like overwhelmingly 70-80% say yes. The problem is that, as to your point, every 4 years they go, well, our billionaires are the good ones, actually. Our millionaires are the good ones, actually. The other side, they're nasty. They're nasty. So it's like for just a brief moment every 4 years, that class consciousness is like the wool gets repulled over our eyes again, and like the willful suspension of belief. Like, I think, like, now, do they have it in like the Leninist sense? No. But like we know the score, and we've known it. Like, I think in the general, we like the one thing that I always think about is like world historic spasm of violence, like American violence. Like you have to have the thing to give something up. The thing that you get has to be better. Like it has to be, and I think the one thing that a lot,
and there's nothing better to get.
yeah, there. Well, I think because I'm an optimist too, I think there is. However, in the same way of like the Bolshevik Revolution, where it's like a lot of Americans can't accept that their job is not to enjoy the fruits of a victory; it's to die. Like I think about that a lot, where like in terms of political revolution, insurrection, things like that, like it's so funny. Like communist LARPers will be like, after the revolution, I'm going to be commissar of wheat production. It's like, no, you're going to be unnamed dead soldier 2,500,722. Like that's my job too.
But as an American, you can't conceive of that. I think
right.
That,
yes. Yeah. That's the problem.
They didn't. Yeah. And so the degree to which they manufactured this hyper individualism.
Yeah. So good.
I don't know. They've certainly helped catalyze it, but I think that is it. I think that because I feel the same way, and I maybe off mic or on the phone we can talk about this. This thought I had in Congress. I don't want to say right.
Sad enough. Yeah.
But I was like, but I'm selfish and I want to know what happens afterwards. Like,
yeah.
This. I want to know. I gotta know how the story ends. You know.
No, and the
so
thing
I'm just as selfish as anybody else. I can't pretend like I'm some fucking revolutionary because like I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
No,
yet.
and I think the thing that I scare myself into sometimes is like, because I say I want to know how the story ends, and then there's a voice in my head that goes, "It doesn't."
Yeah,
like
it doesn't.
It doesn't end, but that's both a good and bad thing. Like all of the people, the Cuban Revolutionary Movement, like that died, like they died, and the Cuban they won. Like I know the USSR dissolved and whatnot, but that socialist project, like all of the Red Army that died in World War II, like all that died in the Civil War, the Russian Civil War. Like anybody that's died on the right side of history, but their side won. Like the story did end for them, but it didn't end for the world. And I get in my own head where I'm like, the hyper individualism is so ingrained that like Americans can't conceive of that. But also, like, I don't know if like I don't. The best case scenario I have is like kind of like a USSR thing, like an army mutiny, like because a lot of those guys, like this is maybe a conversation for a different day, but like a lot of guys in JSOC fucking hate Pete Hegseth. Like they really hate that motherfucker. Mm-hmm. He's not well liked with like the guys who've been, because Pete Hegseth and Miller's thing is like literally the American Fourth Reich, but they don't realize, or maybe they do realize it, but they want more. But all the old top brass guys, they're like, we've had the Fourth Reich for 70 years. We can bomb who we want. We can overthrow who we want. Why are you fucking it up? You're literally riling up the world. You're riling up the American populace to revolt. Why are you doing this? Like all the guys who are like old school, like I'm not rooting for the deep state, but this is their mentality. The deep state's mentality is, you guys want like America number one with no opposition. We've had it. You're fucking it up. Like
so maybe that's what we kind of take solace in, is that the way that things are ending is actually in one of the funniest ways possible.
It
right?
is. Like like in the same,
who could have seen it's slipping on a fucking banana peel kind of, ending. So I'm game for that. But
yeah,
Jake,
me too.
I do have to get going.
Oh yeah, of course, man.
Appreciate your time.
Oh, absolutely.
Would love to talk some more again.
Yeah, I'll have you on. We'll chat about it again.
Yeah, and once I finish, dude, I will send you the Dan Bilzerian stuff. It's gonna be so fucking funny.
Oh, please do, man.
If you have any questions you want me to ask him, let me know.
Okay, will do. I probably related to Stephen Paddock shooting, but just as a joke. But